So if I was smart enough and young enough, this would be something I would really think about delving into, is the potential pharmacological application of all of these peptides produced by amphibians. Yeah, here, this is a mini review article. There's a lot of interest in this as we run out of things like antibiotics that bacteria are becoming resistant to, and so there's a lot of more interest in exploring all of these things. So we see, and this is just the salamanders, the urodeles, so caudate and urodeles synonyms. Antimicrobial, antioxidant, vasoactive, so that means it could either constrict or dilate blood vessels, immunomodulators, dermal wound healing activities. Amazing, right? And they see these peptides, alkaloids. You guys are in organic or have taken it. A lot of these really big, complex molecules are produced by salamanders in their skin, and those are bioactive molecules, and a lot of them are unknown, and it's been millions and millions, hundreds of millions of years of evolution and fine-tuning of these, of the DNA code for these proteins. So I don't think it's surprising that there could be something in there that we could use. So study that, find a new one, make $1 million, fund me I'm the Dad Chair of Biology here, so I don't have to do much teaching, and I can just do research all the time. Please. Amphibian conservation. Kind of a sad time to study amphibians, honestly. And while I say this, I'm going to go, let's see, Google, well, apologies, amphibian, conservation update 2023. This is a huge study that just came out. A big paper written by 1,000 plus, well, it's a collaboration of 1,000 plus experts going through the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List, updating it to see how amphibians are doing, and the general consensus is about 41% of species are threatened with extinction. I mean, these things are generally a little bit alarmist, in my opinion, but there's absolutely no doubt that there's a lot of issues in that the amphibians are facing. Okay. A lot of diseases, things that are emerging. We know about chytrid fungus, but then there's different viruses that are evolving. The Earth is changing quickly. It has always changed, right? We know that there have been climatic cycles with giant ice sheets and moving plates. Things that were tropical are now in the Antarctic, right? But it's the rate of change that is happening right now. Animals will adapt and evolve, but the question is there enough time for this process of natural selection to really allow these organisms to evolve? And there's some indications that is not the case. Not UV radiation is not a big one at this point. Acidification seems to be under control in terms of acid rain, but lots of sections of Appalachia are affected by surface mine runoff. The big ones to me are habitat destruction, just converting huge swaths of the earth for farming and development, and then these infections are really just alarming, very alarming. So we see lots of different species going extinct, In the U.S., 36 species of amphibians are on the threatened or endangered list. It includes 2 in Georgia. So there are state lists, which feature some local species like hellbenders. Well, they're not necessarily really local, but the state has a list, and there are more than 2 on there. But those lists don't really have a lot of teeth. The rules and regulations don't really restrict much of anything, honestly. These threatened and endangered, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, if they get onto that list and critical habitat is established, there can be some real protections for the habitat for these species. These 2, Ambystoma cingulatum and bishopi, were one species 10 years ago, have been split due to looking at phylogenetics. They both live down in the coastal plain and are very, very critically endangered at this point. Here's 2 that we've lost. The bottom is the golden toad. This was a group. I don't know if it would have been an Anactris now, or another genus. This was Atelopus. They both live in the tropics. One of my teachers at University of Alabama, Huntsville, had a house down in Costa Rica, and he said that they used to go and at a certain time of the year, the golden toads would gather and breed en masse. There was just hundreds of them, and then at some point, people started going out to look for them, and they were completely gone. And just without notice, the species went extinct as a direct result of this chytrid fungus infection that was spreading down the isthmus of Central America. Right, so 40% are deemed at risk of extinction, but we have seen quite a few different extinctions. I don't know, let's see. Amphibians extinct in the last 10 years, 20 years, maybe 20 years. List of recently extinct animals. So, I mean, this is remarkable, right? Look at this list. This is unbelievable. I didn't even really realize this. A lot of it in this same genus, Atelopus. I think that these guys, Prismanthus, yeah, those are in Central America too. A lot of them in Australia. Australia was hit very, very hard by the chytrid fungus. So very dire straits that they're in, and also a cool group. So there you go.